We're here today to check out some more cricket.
But should we just call it like Cricket Tuesday or something like that?
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
Concept was repeating itself. Can we just see that?
It's so true, though.
Okay, well, first of all,
true.
Mitch Johnson, Brett Lee, MS Dhoni, with all that boring stuff out of the way, this is a very important, momentous occasion. All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
And we are here on Cricket Tuesday.
Bro, that was bad, man. The lag is real. The lag is real. You know what? I don't even care. Let me tell you something. You guys see the Knicks hat right here? You guys see the Giants shirt right here? I am cloaked in failure. Yes, this is Cricket Tuesday, but this is when we get the most attention on Boring Reviews. So I want to rant to you people. It is painful to be a Giants fan. We got beat by the 49ers second string. Everybody was out. Everybody was out. Their starting quarterback, Garoppolo, was out. Their starting running back, Mostert, was out. Their starting tight end, Kittle, was out. Nick Bosa, out for the season, and they manhandled us. The Knicks, they lost at the draft. At the Golden State Warrior got the second pick. Why? What? Dude, I'm starting to think God is from Boston, bro. He hates New York. And mark my word, the Yankees are going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Gosh. It's so bad. It's all darkness. It's just bad. I'm sitting in the corner of my room just listening to that song. Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Oh.
Wow. I clock you in just under like 2 minutes. Holy cow. Guys, I have no idea where that came from. We haven't even talked about anything yet. I'm wearing the hat that always is on the winning side. That's right. Post-snap and before snap. So here on Cricket Tuesday – thank you, Gabe, for getting us started here. We are, and by the way, my Chargers lost to the Panthers, who don't have McCaffrey. So calm down, my friend. Calm down. So here on Cricket Tuesday, here on Boring Reviews, we are checking out a cricket legend, the late and the great Dean Jones. Now, I'm never, ever going to fake it to anyone. I did not know about Dean Jones at all before he passed away. Right? And I think it's safe to say neither did Gabe, but I could be wrong. I did not know about him. I'm sure his name was mentioned. I'm sure we had requests for him, but it never passed my radar. He passed away not too long ago. Not too long ago at all. He had a cardiac arrest. But we got this awesome email from a Patron. We have obviously the best patrons because they decide to support two crazy guys like us. And this is a Patron named Jehan. And I'm not going to read his entire message, but he had a great message about Dean Jones. But I'm going to read the Dean Jones part. And it's going to tie into our video today. So he said he wanted to give us some context into the legend of the Australian cricketer that he was, Dean Jones. He said in the mid-late 80s, Australia lost a lot of players to retirement, World Series cricket, and a lot of players were banned going on rebel tours to South Africa to find the outrage over apartheid. So at that time, Australia were rebuilding and only had one experienced player in their captain, Alan Border. Jones was one of the players identified as the future, but he had played and got dropped and hadn't played for Australia for a year or two. They had a tour of India coming up, and he got picked up again. Alan Border wanted him to bat at number 3 because he was a great player of spin. The first test was played in Madras, now called Chennai. Obviously, completely foreign conditions for people relatively new to test cricket. The conditions for the test match were terrible. 40 degrees Celsius, so 105 Fahrenheit, 90% humidity. Jones scored his first 100, but on day 2, by the time he got to 120 or so, he was suffering from severe heat stroke and dehydration, having to vomit multiple times between overs and even losing control of urination due to severe dehydration. At 150 or so, he was batting with Alan Border, and he told him, "This is getting ridiculous now. I'm constantly vomiting and can barely stand up. I need to go off and retire sick." Alan Border had no sympathy and said to him, "Sure, you weak so-and-so. We'll get someone tough out here. We'll get a Queenslander out here. Greg Ritchie is in next, not a weak Victorian like you. Queensland is the year-round hot tropical state in Australia, whereas Victoria is only hot in the summer." Dean Jones got irate at this comment and carried on to get 210, highest test score by an Australian in India to this day. The test ended up only in the second tied test of all time, where after both sides finished, the final score was equal. Jones has said he was willing to die on the pitch that match because that was what playing for Australia meant for him. He had massive connections with India afterwards, visiting there over 100 times for commentating and coaching in the years after. He died in Mumbai in the end, not too far from Chennai. It makes me think he was always destined to die in India. Brett Lee was at the scene of his collapse and brought him back to life twice, but couldn't save him. Thank you so much, Jehan, for that beautiful message. And I read his words word for word. This guy eloquently put that together, a tribute of his own to the late and great Dean Jones. And when I say the late and great, I'm not saying from my personal experience, from what all of you guys have said since his passing. So we were going to do a Dean Jones reaction today regardless. But I was able to find, and I think copyright safe, YouTube safe, I was able to find a part of a documentary where they talk about this very test that he's talking about. So me and Gabe, we're going to watch it. It's about 9.5 minutes of this section of the documentary. Some of it is talking, so it's a documentary. Some of it is game time action. And we appreciate you guys joining us for this reaction. We appreciate you joining us for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Before we start it, Gabe, what an amazing story about Dean Jones. What an amazing experience. Someone who's willing to die on the pitch. Thoughts, my friend?
I mean, it kind of puts Curt Schilling's bloody sock into perspective, doesn't it? Where, everybody, Schilling was out there, with the bloody sock and all that. And anybody that doesn't know, Yankees, Red Sox, the Yankees were destroying the Red Sox. They came back, had the unbelievable comeback, and Curt Schilling was hobbled. He was leaking out of his sock. I guess he had like surgery or something on his foot. I can't remember exactly what the context was, but you hear stories like this in professional sports where guys are willing to sacrifice life and limb. Who was it Lynn Swann that had his fingers amputated right on the football field? Like,
not Lynn Swann. It was the guy for the Ronnie Lott for the 49ers.
Ronnie Lott, exactly. And, I think that, again, a lot of people don't understand the unless you've been there. And, bro, I've never been to that point. But I've taken my share of beatings in the ring, as a fighter. And, bro, the longest I ever went was 5 rounds, 6 rounds. And I can't even imagine, like, back in the days, those 15-round fights where you're done, bro. The life is drained out of you, but you will not go down. You're going to have to kill me, but I'm not going to throw in the towel. And that's what this guy was. I mean, losing control of his bowels, urinating, throwing up, because he's dehydrated and still putting on that kind of a performance. That's amazing, man. That's inspiring. And it really, I guess it's a commentary of the superhuman feats that we are capable of doing when we just push our body, when we think we can't, but, we still have a little extra in us. You know what I'm saying? We get that second win we don't even know is out there for us. And in the words of the great Ali, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm excited to see this documentary on Dean Jones. I know that it hit the cricketing world pretty hard, and not just people from Australia, English fans, West Indies fans, everybody knew who this guy was. Everybody, sent their condolences, and it took them aback. And I think it's heartbreaking that I guess Brett Lee was there when it happened and was trying to revive him. That has got to be such a tough and painful thing, man. Emotionally for Brett Lee as well, you know what I mean? Because Brett Lee knows what this guy meant to Australian cricket. So, wow, that's such a tough thing. And I only hope that, he's able to rest in peace and, finally take that rest that he so needed after that. What was it, 2 days and 120? The guy was dehydrated, but could not give up rest because he wasn't from, was it Queensland? I don't even know.
Yeah. So they say he's from Queensland, which again, that whole thing was that they have one season of summer, or he's from Victoria. Queensland has all types of summer all year long. No, you said it best. I mean, I quote it all the time because I love the line for so many different reasons. But Rocky says it in Rocky 1, cut me, Mick, cut me. In Rocky 2, he says, I'm not going to go down no more. That's that mental, that's that heart that you have where he can knock me down, but I'm not going down, so I'm not going to let it happen. I love that. And then also just the symmetry I think it was the same message or maybe a previous message or a later message where this patron had said that Mumbai is, not too far away from Chennai. He almost died on the cricket field. He died where he was, where he had been many, many times. This guy became a commentator legend. I was doing some reading up on him. The only times he was without a job was because, he's a very, he's a big character. And so he speaks his mind. And there's been some things that he said that the companies he worked for did not like. And so he got let go from time to time, but always came back. And this guy, this is why the fans love him, because they grew up with him. It's kind of like John Madden for us growing up to his voice and Al Michaels and whatnot. But let's go ahead and jump into this. This is officially a Patreon request, even though Jehan didn't ask for it. We got you, my friend. Thanks so much for supporting Boring Reviews and Cricket for Americans. And let's jump into this. All right, so this video, in case you want to check it out later, this is called India versus Australia, second tied match in history of cricket, 1986-2. All right, in 3, 2, 1.
I don't think I've ever seen or played in a test match where the conditions over 5 days were so appalling as that Madras test match. It was terrible. The humidity was bad. We're there at the wrong time of the year. That Buckingham Canal outside the ground stunk every time there was a breeze come up.
The Buckingham Canal runs right alongside the stadium. It was an old waterway for traders in the time of the British that has now become an open sewer as a result of the sprawl of urban Madras, overflowing into the nearby Bay of Bengal.
The waft that was coming across the ground from the Buckingham Canal, where there was sort of these mysterious gases and green slime sort of slowly moving around the ground in this canal,
is suffocating enough. But then as the breeze comes from the wrong direction, the Buckingham Canal does play its role, just to add to the mysteries of India, if you like. Just the stench coming out of the open sewer that is the Buckingham Canal.
So you guys know there's an echo on this video, so it's just on the video itself. Sorry about
sent
that.
Down by Indian skipper Kapil Dev, but only rarely did he beat the bat.
Jeffrey, Robert, Marsh and I decided that Australia really get off to a good start. So no matter what we had to do, we had to try and do that for everybody else, because it was really, really hot on that first day, and we had to continue through.
Openers Marsh and Boone settled in quickly as the temperature hovered in the high 30s. Marsh even prompted Dev to remove himself from the attack after only his third over.
This time, Jeff Marsh manages to beat the two men on the offside.
20-year-old paceman Chetan Sharma tried to extract life and paid the penalty. Next ball, Boone repeated the treatment as the Australians built an opening standard of 48. Dev had introduced spin after only 7 overs, and he was finally rewarded. Marsh on 22 played across Yadav's line, and top heads to the Indian captain.
Drop it.
We'd pretty well established our opening pair with Boone and Marsh, and who was going to fill that pivotal number 3 role.
I get this call from the skipper, Alan Border, come to my room. Went to his room. He said, "Sit down. You want a drink?" "Thanks." So we sit down, had a Pepsi or water or something, and we're just talking. He said, "Right, you're my number 3 for the next couple of years. Do you want it?" And he looked me down the barrel. "Do you want it?" I said, "Well, I've been waiting 2 years."
The thing that sort of swayed me was he's a very good player with spin bowling. Used his feet very, very well. Had all the shots. Was prepared to advance down the wicket to get after spinners. And so that's in my mind tipped the scales in his way.
Number 3 positions. Just think of the people who batted number 3 for Australia in the past, and think about what you do. You got to do the stuff that they did. I'll keep thinking of Bradmans and Chappells and all these type of stuff.
He was absolutely rapt to be given the opportunity again to bat at 3, pivotal role. He knew he had my confidence and support, so I think he left the room just 10-foot tall, bulletproof, ready for action.
After 1 hour of talking to me about what's required as a test cricketer and as a test batsman, a number 3 batsman, I walked out of that room feeling 10-foot tall. I just thought I was invincible. I just felt Alan Border put a red coat around my neck and put number S on the front.
Newly promoted Dean Jones made the most of his chance and punished anything loose.
Right job. First off, when I get straight right,
David Boone was Australia's first day hero with a mostly patient but sometimes savage innings of 122. Sharma seemed determined to expose Boone's hook shot, but with no success.
As Jones and Boone went on the attack, the stifling heat took its toll.
It was so hot, and the energy levels were just completely sapping out of us, because it's a bit like a tennis player playing a serve and volley game. I knew it was hot. Halfway through between lunch and tea, and Chris Reedcamp, a local, he said, "You know how hot it is here, Dino, today?" I said, "No." He said, "When I was driving here this morning, I saw the rats running away. All the local rats. I know it's hot then."
The heat in Madras. Chennai, there are only three weathers: hot, hotter, hottest. So you belong to the hotter category.
You can normally cope with a clean hot heat, but when that humidity, which it does in Madras, gets very high, it's like walk a lap and the sweat starts coming through the eyelets in your shoes. And it's very taxing.
David Boone's 100 was his third in Test cricket and was finally helped by some Indian generosity.
I almost became a bit dizzy and hazy and couldn't focus on the ball, and then the second new ball came along.
In desperation, Kapil Dev finally took the new ball just before stumps, and Sharma got the message. A magnificent hand by the young Tasmanian, including 21 fours.
I was really disappointed to get out at that late stage, and Ray had to come in as a night watchman for about 15 minutes. But pleased to get 100, but disappointed to get out that fashion.
I look up and get a bit of a shake in their ears telling me to get the pads on, and I just sort of started to get butt out, and he just said, "Just do it." So when the captain told you to do it, you just did it.
The Jones boy, that's like Indiana Jones right.
If the players hoped for some relief from the oppressive heat, it was not to be. The cement of the tiered concrete stadium continued to be baked by the broiling sun and was almost too hot to touch.
I don't think they played today in those conditions. I think I would say it was harmful for your health. It really was quite ridiculous when you look back, and it was so hot and so humid that you'd just step outside and it was like walking into a furnace.
When play resumed this morning, night watchman Ray Bright showed complete disdain for India's best bowler, Ravi Shastri. Not to be outdone, Dean Jones advanced from 88 to 96 with two spanking boundaries. The first a square leg, and the second, high, wide and handsome through mid-wicket.
There you go. Step into it.
And Ray Bright's gone saying, "Jesus, it's hot. God, I know it's hot, Ray. I was here yesterday. Look, just..." And he said, "Jesus, it's hot." And I could see him. He's going crimson red and he's starting to blow up, you know.
I ended up holding out for 30 odd because I virtually just couldn't hold the bat in the end, and I didn't really know. I was in a fair bit of trouble. They got the doctor, but I had no idea what was happening. I was almost sort of not with it at all.
He was basically gone. He was shot, almost reduced to tears.
Jones, playing in only his third test, defied insufferable heat to reach his maiden test century with his on-drive from Shastri's bowling. It was the achievement of a player who had learned to curb impetuosity and work for his runs.
I've made 100, test 100. You made it, but my brain was saying, "Hang on, there's more to come here. I'm not worried about the 100. I want to get more."
Jones even overshadowed his illustrious partner, Alan Border, in a stand of 178 for the fourth wicket, as both men overcame India's bowlers in the testing conditions.
The tragedy of it was played in India, because it didn't get the publicity, it didn't get the recognition. It's one of the great innings ever played, one of the gutsiest innings ever played.
And I think Dean Jones, I've never bowled against a better batter ever in my life. I mean, he didn't let me pitch the ball, really. The moment I would fly the ball, he was there at the pitch of the ball. And it was a lovely sight. You know, there are some times in your career when you enjoy being hit. And I think that was one innings I really enjoyed being hit, because I was giving him that challenge that come out, step out and hit me. And he would accept it every time.
It got to a stage where I started to cramp up in my hands, and you get pins and needles in your hands, and your hands start to go up with that. And you push your hands out trying to stop the cramping, and then I swept one and I started to cramp up in the back leg, and then I started to cramp up in the back, and it got to the stage where I think I was in the mid-170s or something, and I knew I was in trouble because I started to urinate in my pants, and I couldn't stop it.
He would hit me for a boundary, go to mid-wicket, vomit, come back, do that again. It was amazing. I mean, I was just thinking that he's going to get out, he's going to get tired, but he never did.
I've got to admit that I wasn't overly concerned. Just he's a bit crook, and throwing up. But you have these little fits of nausea, then you get back into the stream of things. You might feel crook again. And
I said, Davey, I've had enough. I'm stopping the game. This is stupid. Me vomiting every 2 minutes on TV. And every time I hit the ball in the outfield, I can only walk one. I can't run. I'm cramping up. I can't move anymore.
I was sort of in the situation where I'm thinking, well, I know it, James. Like I could cajole him into a bit more effort, not knowing how crook he really was. So that famous line about we'll get someone tough out here, we'll get a Queenslander, because I.
Wow. I didn't expect it to end right there. All right, so that video ended a little early because this video is all about the Tide match. So me and Gabe are going to watch the first 3 minutes of the next one just so we can finish this Dean Jones story. So Gabe, let me know when you're ready and then give us a countdown.
All right, brother. In 3, 2, 1.
That famous line about we'll get someone tough out here, we'll get a Queenslander, because I knew Greg Ritchie was in next. I knew that would have the desired effect, and a few major expletives later, directed back at me. I knew I'd pressed the right buttons.
The ailing Jones almost retired at 170, but decided to keep going and became the first Australian to score a Test double century in India.
I cannot remember going into the dressing room at 202 not out at tea. I can't remember anything. By the time he came in, 202 not out at tea time, he was like a corpse.
Every time he came off the field, we had assigned players to do certain things for Dino. As he came through, the cap would be taken off, his gloves would be removed, his pads would be removed, someone else would take off his shirts, and there'd be an ice bath waiting for him.
We would do that, like just shove him out the door, so Dino, go, you're off again. And somehow he would click back in, but as he went on, his eyes started to draw out and draw out and draw out.
I was still batting when he was dismissed at 210, so I just thought, oh, what a fantastic knock, and we're getting to that point where we're in a very impregnable position in this game.
I remember when I got out, I got bowled and walked off the ground. That I was put in a bath, an ice bath, full of ice, just water, and I just hopped in this bath and I had a Fanta or something in, and I thought, oh, this is like lukewarm water. And obviously it was unbearably cold ice and all that. And I was okay. The first time all day that I felt, oh, I'm half alive. Yeah, I'm all right. And I hopped out of the bath and that was it.
It wasn't until later that I found out that he sort of collapsed and was in very bad shape and had been rushed off to the hospital. And that's when I started to think, oh my God, I've killed him.
I went into a ball because I was cramping that much and I just couldn't release. I was screaming to high hell that the pain in my back and the stomach and just cramp right through your whole body. And obviously dehydration and set in. And then I got told later that obviously I went to ambulance to the Apollo hospital and what happened there in the hospital and chaos and all that type of stuff. And they weighed me and that I lost 7 kilos in a day.
Holy cow.
I can't remember going to the hospital at all. And Errol Alcott, our Australian physio, tells the story that the ambulance was just amazing. One of the best rides we'll ever get anywhere. And we got to the Apollo Hospital and of course got wheeled in on a gurney or something. And I went into the emergency room and there was this one guy, Errol recalls, that surrounded, he's really badly injured. He's surrounded by nurses and doctors and prodding him, pushing him with all this type of stuff. And he's been hit by a bus recently and he's mangled. And all of a sudden, someone says, Australian cricketer, dehydration, Dean Jones is here. And all of them just left this poor bloke and just looked after me. And Errol's gone, looked across, and there's this nurse just patting this poor bloke's hand. And he's got broken legs and ribs and cuts and all that. All I've got is dehydration. Because I was the cricketer, Australian cricketer at that. They just looked after me.
I've got to take full credit for his legendary status now. I mean, if he'd walked off retired at 170, Mate, no, legend. Now he's made 210 and nearly died. I mean, I'm responsible for that.
Oh, that sounds like something me or you would say. I love that. At least he knows. I mean, at least he knows he was that close, or he probably was the heel that day. But man, that's hilarious. But man, what a story. I mean, I kind of spoiled it reading the message from the Patreon. So I was thinking while we're watching that, man, I shouldn't have told Gabe anything. We should just watch this. But absolutely amazing. And then let's think about this. This match ended in a tie. So every single one of those runs that he sacrificed his body for to obtain ended up preventing them from getting a loss.
Bro, first and foremost, 7 kilos is basically 15 pounds. Okay, almost 16 pounds. I'll tell you right now,
2 days.
In basically a day of cricket, one of the things that's dangerous about boxing is fighters, you're always battling the scales. So, and if you've watched certain films, you'll see where guys are in the sauna room. They are. I remember spending one time 6 hours in the sauna, bro, with a sauna suit on, and you got just a wet towel on your head. You can't breathe. You're leaking. And I remember walking out of there, bro, and just feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm literally going to die. And they had to help me out of the sauna. I had only dropped 9 pounds. Could you imagine? That's just sitting in the sauna room in that heat, him playing with all that gear on, and you're telling me that he lost 15 pounds? I lost 9, 10 pounds. In that, people don't understand. To lose that kind of weight in that a small amount of time, bro, he was near death. I guarantee you, bro. I mean, and there's been plenty of fighters in history, boxers, who under the lights of the because then you also got the lights from the arenas or whatever, they'll lose 4 or 5 pounds, 6 pounds in a fight because of and they get dropped, and it's not because they're knocked out, they're just dehydrated. They got nothing left, no fluids in you. You know what I mean, bro? And the human body is what 80% or what is it, 75% water, something like that, bro. When you got no water in your body, it's ugly, cousin. Oh, what a story! I could see why this guy's a legend. That's super cool, man.
Yeah, and not just that he's a legend, but that story is legendary. And I'm glad that Jehan was able to get us on it and help us to be able to learn about. I'm glad that I was able to find that video on a very small cricket or YouTube channel, but I was able to find that video so we can react to it. We nothing but respect. I feel bad for all the Dean Jones fans out there that lost that legend, but hey, you got to see him, in his heyday. You got to see him play, and we get to see the highlights of it. And I'm excited to watch some of the commentating highlights of him if there are such a thing out there. If you want us to react more on Dean Jones, I found a few more videos that we could react to. Just let us know in the comment section. Say, yes, please, more Dean Jones. We will show up for that. We definitely want to see that. If you have any videos that you can think of that aren't on an official cricket channel, but that we can watch about Dean Jones or other cricket players we have not gotten to yet for Cricket Tuesday, please get those requests in. We appreciate you guys so much, and girls, for watching us and coming back. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. And until next time.
That's 6 runs.